All right. Hello, hopefully, at Nick Investing. You're probably wondering why I have so much enthusiasm and drive to bother you on the internet, especially on your YouTube profile. That's because we have a lot in common. I am also a student. I'm a little older than you. I'm 26 currently, but I hit what is essentially the peak of my restaurant cooking, bartending career, and I decided to go back to school. So we're sharing that. I also got my ass beat during the semester, and I know it's tough. I know I left that in the comment. And I'm gifting you a curse, the curse of accountability. Someone who's there to remind you that you should continue even when times are tough, even when shit's hard. And I hope you do that for me at one point. Anyway, so I haven't uploaded for something like nearly 50 something days. And I have done pretty well. I managed to bottom time the market. I don't know if I included that in the last one. I managed to bottom time the market and slip out. And since then, I only deposited money when the account was below 3% profit, which I promised I would do as a Nuzlocke way earlier. And as it currently sits, I yapped a bunch in some previous videos about this trident that I have going on, a rotating wheeling option, a long option. This is rotating wheeling highlighted, a long option. I managed to average down the long option quite a bit, and then I have the raw stock in reserve. And as it currently sits, if SPLG splits 4-for-1 as it did in 2017 when the stock price hits 120, which is a mouthful, then it will split into the exact amount of shares that I would like to keep in reserve. And then the call option would also split 4x, and I would be able to average that down deep. However, even though I dodged the tariff mania, or not mania, just psychopathy, um, it's I resold at I resold the call at what I resold the put at, and so that's currently put me in a predicament. As you can see, the SPLG is currently trending above what my option is representing. And if we click to this and then we view all options, if you look towards the call that this is representing, uh, you can actually roll up calls like this, boom, boom, as long as they'll remain below the share price and capture some extra extrinsic value while getting assigned. Essentially, not missing out on a whole width of a strike price, and that's very important as the portfolio sits at around $200. I did chuck a few dollars into some watch list items, and I got more exposure to Google when the forward PE was sitting at about 15. I do not regret either of those, and the amount of money that I put into the account was reasonable. Again, part of the Nuzlocke is that I can't move 3 grand from savings and put it in. I have to put in the money as I get it, especially from work, especially from tips and stuff. I have to put in reasonable amounts. So if I would come home with $200 in my pocket from cooking for some people, I would only throw in 30, 20, 25, a reasonable amount, something along the lines of save your 10% kind of thing. But as this trends closer towards maybe 15 days, there is a real likelihood that I'll move this call option up unless the market slides off again. However, oh geez, you're seeing all my stuff here. Uh, Nick, my girlfriend and I, we love talking about this, but I don't have anyone else who loves talking about this with me. So I'm here to bother your ass and make sure you keep uploading so I know that someone else out there who's just like me is continuing to do it. Let's compare the portfolio on a year-to-date time frame. I'm up 5%, and the S&P is up 0.6. So that's the current delta. I'm currently doing amazing. based off of the scripted strategy that I put in place a while ago. Poor cat. The only reason that I even sold that particular put so low was because I anticipated that the market was not anticipating how do I say this nicely? How egregious the change would be by the new administration. Um, I believe that the current administration has a very particular type of warfare that it prefers, and it was economic. And it has done so since 2016 with the gap of 2020 to 2024. Anywho, thanks for listening to me ramble. I'm going to keep it tight. I'm going to keep it 6 minutes. I'm going to keep it good to go. But doing great this year, coming into the new year, leading out, we finals couldn't stop me from making a good decision. Sleep deprivation couldn't stop me from making a good decision. So many things couldn't stop me from making a good decision. And I hope that continues. Looking forward, I'm going to wrap it up here in minute 6. Looking forward, I'm going to be looking to build up the buying power back to something that has some flexibility to it. Let's say 5 to 10% of the portfolio again. And that way I can continue marching along with liquidity. The exposure provided by the long call as the market reaches back into all-time highs will just trounce all the exposure that I had prior, and the raw shares will help me out, and the triple long of selling a put or the income generation of selling a call will help me immensely. Peace. Oh shit, I didn't stop it.